What if I told you that a single man created the mental operating system that modern computers would eventually mirror 2,300 years later? You're about to meet the second founder of Stoicism, a philosopher so prolific he wrote 700 books, and so precise he built the logical framework that still governs how we think today. Welcome back to the history of the mind, where we're exploring the architects of reality. I'm diving deep into the greatest intellectual blueprints ever constructed, using Mortimer Adler's great ideas as our lens to see how ancient wisdom still supports our modern world. Today we're examining Chrysippus, the man they called the logic machine. Picture this: it's 3rd century BCE Greece, and philosophy is having an identity crisis. The Stoics have this beautiful ethical system about living according to nature, but they have a problem. Critics are tearing them apart with sophisticated arguments, and early Stoics don't have the logical tools to fight back effectively. Enter Chrysippus of Soli, a man who would transform philosophy from an art into a science. Here's what makes Chrysippus absolutely fascinating. He didn't just defend Stoicism, he rebuilt it from the ground up using pure logic. Think of him as the architect who took a beautiful but structurally unsound building and redesigned it with engineering precision. The result? A philosophical system so logically bulletproof that it would dominate Western thought for centuries. But here's where it gets really interesting. Chrysippus invented what we now call propositional logic, the foundation of modern computer programming. Every time your phone processes an if-then statement, every time your GPS calculates a route, every time artificial intelligence makes a decision, it's using the logical framework that Chrysippus created over 2 millennia ago. Let me show you exactly how his mind worked. Chrysippus realized that emotions aren't just feelings, they're logical errors. When you get angry, you're essentially running a faulty program in your head. You're saying something like, if someone disrespects me, then my worth diminishes. Chrysippus would debug that statement instantly. He'd show you that your worth isn't dependent on external validation, therefore the whole emotional program crashes. This is where Adler's great idea of logic becomes crucial. Adler argued that logic isn't just about winning arguments, it's about stripping away everything non-essential to reach pure truth. Chrysippus embodied this perfectly. He wasn't interested in eloquent speeches or poetic metaphors. He wanted the raw, unvarnished structure of reality. Consider how revolutionary this was. Before Chrysippus, philosophy was largely intuitive. Wise teachers would share insights, students would contemplate them, and wisdom would emerge through experience. Chrysippus said, "That's not good enough." He demanded that every philosophical claim be subjected to rigorous logical analysis. If it couldn't survive logical scrutiny, it wasn't worth believing. His approach to handling life's challenges was pure engineering. When faced with any situation, Chrysippus would run it through his logical framework. Is this within my control or outside my control? If it's outside my control, then emotional disturbance is illogical. If it's within my control, then I should act rationally without emotional interference. This if-then processing became the core operating system for Stoic practitioners. The genius of Chrysippus wasn't just in creating these logical tools, but in making them practical for everyday life. He understood that philosophy means nothing if it can't help you navigate real-world problems. So he developed what we might call emotional algorithms, step-by-step logical processes for handling jealousy, anger, fear, and grief. Here's a perfect example of his method in action. Let's say you're devastated because you didn't get a promotion you wanted. The average person would just feel bad and maybe complain to friends. Chrysippus would walk you through a logical audit. First premise, you wanted the promotion. Second premise, you didn't get it. Conclusion, reality doesn't match your preferences. But here's the key insight. Your emotional suffering isn't caused by not getting the promotion. It's caused by your judgment that not getting the promotion is terrible. Change the judgment. Eliminate the suffering. This is why they called him the logic machine. Chrysippus could take any human experience and break it down into logical components, then reassemble it in a way that eliminated unnecessary suffering while preserving clear thinking. He essentially created a debugging system for the human mind. What makes this even more remarkable is how his work anticipated modern cognitive science. Today's cognitive behavioral therapy operates on principles that Chrysippus articulated centuries ago. The idea that our thoughts, not our circumstances, determine our emotional experiences. Modern neuroscience has confirmed that we can literally rewire our brains through conscious logical analysis, exactly what Chrysippus was teaching his students to do. The 700 books he wrote weren't just philosophical treatises, they were instruction manuals for mental architecture. Each work contributed to a comprehensive system for building a rational, resilient mind capable of thriving under any conditions. Unfortunately, almost all of his writings have been lost, but their influence echoes through every subsequent philosophical system that values logical rigor. Chrysippus proved that the human mind, when properly structured through logical principles, becomes virtually unshakable. He showed that wisdom isn't about accumulating knowledge, it's about building better mental frameworks for processing whatever knowledge you encounter. His legacy lives on every time someone pauses in the middle of an emotional reaction and asks themselves, "Wait, is this logical?" The logic machine didn't just defend Stoicism, he created the template for rational living that still powers clear thinking today. Next episode, we'll explore how another architectural mind built upon his foundation. If this deep dive into intellectual history resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations of the greatest minds who shaped our reality.